We met when we were very little, a lot longer before I could remember.
Our parents have always been very good friends and our families have always interacted and done things forever. I didn't like Kyle back in the day. He terrorized the neighborhood and I was one of the children that they would terrorize.
Kind of treated her like my sister at first. I harassed her and scared her. I think she was scared of me.
He chased me down the street with a dead squirrel. My mom told me that I was going to marry him someday, and I was like, ew. Probably the summer of 2007, our families just like week after week were consistently doing different things, and we were kind of thrown together, hanging out a lot. And I kind of realized I might like him. Weird. And kind of convinced him in a sneaky way to ask me to homecoming.
I asked her to homecoming. It was kind of more of a joke though. And then she said yes, we went to homecoming, and then I went back to not talking to her for about a year.
I kind of stalked him, around the hallways of Beagell Valley.
She would talk to me, I just didn't talk back to her very much.
And, hi Kyle, hi, and hi, keep walking away.
She made me very nervous because I liked her, but she was scary.
After that, we started, hanging out more and more, and my friends, Maddie, but the famous quote was, "I'm really sick of liking Kyle Beagell. Can we like somebody else? Because, we're a unity and we like the same." Told me a lot. Let's like someone else. This is boring. Kyle's not really into you.
Between spending every day after school or like going to we went to, I don't know how many dances she counted up, but it was a lot. But really, it didn't take too long for her to become my best friend.
Our first official date was awful.
We went to Cold Stone and got smoothies or milkshakes.
Looking back now, I'm not sure why I agreed to it, but I was too embarrassed to tell him that I was lactose intolerant.
And about halfway back to her parents' house, she started having a stomach attack and she needed to get home.
He had a fire engine on his car at the time. So I texted my mom and was like, yep, 8 Cold Stone, I'm sick. He's bringing me home. And she's like, well, you're never seeing him again, are you? I was like, nope, probably not. I ran inside and came back out like an hour later and he was still there.
I don't think she expected me to be there when she came out.
I was like, why are you still here? And he was like, you're an idiot.
I think from there, a second date was kind of a given because I dealt with that and I didn't take off running. So she owed it to me.
We just started hanging out at, each other's houses and stuff like that, but it was weird because our families were such good friends that it wasn't like, the normal steps of going to the house and meeting the parents and the siblings, and it was like we already knew, which was cool, but at the same time, not cool because our parents communicating all the time and knew exactly where we were, what we were doing, who was out of town,
Really just were perfect for each other, I thought. I mean, I was kind of an introvert and she's the complete opposite of that. And she makes me not be an introvert all the time. She's kind of fit perfect.
We started dating in high school, and then my senior year, I was going away to Penn State in Williamsport. So it was 2.5 hours, which in high school, we didn't go one day without seeing each other. And now I was gonna go away for a month for the first time. And the whole summer was just dwelling on the leave. And
she's terrible with goodbyes. She doesn't even like to say goodbye. She likes to Irish exit, just take off out the back.
The last night before I left for school, I remember getting in my car and I'm crying and dramatic and the world is over, and Taylor Swift came on my radio and Kyle jumped in front of my car with my headlights on and was just dancing to Taylor Swift, which is very outside Kyle's box, but to make me smile, make me happy, he's dancing outside of my car and was like, it'll be fine, I'll see you in a few weeks, it's not even a big deal. I was like, gonna stick around with him.
I proposed the same way that I got her to date me, which was tricking her. And I went out into the woods at had to have been like 4:30, And I was all camoed out, took my bow with me, and a couple dozen roses, and I went back and told her that I shot that deer.
Katie, and I'm all like, not a morning person at all. Like, you have to give me at least 2 hours. I'm like, what? And he was like, I shot a deer. I'm like, oh. And I've always been very supportive of the deer. It's his thing. It's, gotta support their things. And every time he shoots a deer, I go and see it, and I may once or twice have kissed it. It happened, it's over, don't talk about it. But he told me he shot a deer.
She yelled at me at first, and then I finally got her to get the dog and come out, which was the only way she would come out. I had to tell her, take the dog out to find the deer.
Anything involving the dog, I'm like, yeah, the dog!
And we walked back, and I was leading her kind of in circles towards the area, and eventually she saw the roses, and I was like, here we go.
All of a sudden I look over, and there's this tree, and it has roses all over it. So I looked down, and I was like, oh my God, and Kyle was like, yeah, and I was like, oh my God, I think somebody's animal died.
Something's buried right there. I think it's the neighbor's dog. She kept going on and on saying, these roses are real, this just got put here, and she's freaking out. And I'm sitting there like, nodding up at the tree, like, look at it.
So I look up at the tree, and it's like this heart, and it says, marry me. I'm like, marry me? It's a really weird dog name, like Mary, and I was like, oh my God.
I thought she was gonna drop the dog and drop herself. Honestly, I don't think I even asked her at first because I was just sitting there shaking a little bit.
And I turned around, he was down on one knee, and I like looked down at him, he's like, so? And I was like, you didn't ask me. And it was like, you thought this was a pet memorial. So we were both crying, and he said, will you marry me? And I said, of course, and we hugged, and it was great. I never said, this is my boyfriend. It was always, this is Kyle, because he's just my Kyle. Like, I think it's been so long that I've never had to be like, oh yes, and this is my new boyfriend. It's just Kyle. He's just always been there, and he's always going to be there.
Her most endearing qualities definitely would be how caring she is, and she would deny it up and down, but she puts everybody before herself, and I really respect that about her. Takes care of me a lot.
He's just a very down-to-earth, very, very hardworking, sometimes too hardworking with projects, but his heart is in a really good place.
Katie, thank you for always being there for me and for being my best friend. I can't wait to see where we go in life, but I know that wherever we do go, I'm going to be extremely happy because we got to go there together. I love you.
Thank you for putting up with me for the past 8 years. Thank you for introducing me to so many wonderful people and so many new things. I look forward to our future together, and I can't wait to see where we go.